Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Supercar News. So we've got some great news stories coming up for you, and just so you are aware, all the news stories that we cover are actually covered on our website during the week. So if you want to get the news stories before this particular show, just go to the website supercartribe.com and you'll be able to pick it up over there. So first story we want to cover is we know that the Ferrari SF90 Stradale is going to be coming out very shortly. It's the new sort of mid-engined hypercar, which is a hybrid, and it's quite a stunning car, to be fair. And there's something that Ferrari has done which is very, very special, which is worth a mention. Back in the 70s, there was a film that was made called Rendez-vous, and if you've not seen it, we'll have a link down below. We've got it on our channel, and essentially it's like a 12-minute film of a film director driving a Ferrari Daytona because he's late for a date, and it's really quite special. Anyhow, Ferrari have created a version 2 of that, and essentially this is a street race through the streets of Paris. Completely non-stop, no care for the rules or anything like that. Ferrari have created a version 2 of that, which is shot in Monaco, and they've given us a teaser video, and there's a full video which is coming out in about a week or so. So we'll definitely be posting up on our website, on our YouTube channel as well. So check out the teaser video because it's definitely worth having a look at, and you get sneak previews of the SF90 Stradale and that as well. Next up, we've got some sad news actually. I mean, it's a real shame this, but it's kind of a sign of the times. Bentley have been creating one of their engines it's called the L Series engine, and it's been in production for 61 years, and it's just come to an end. And this is the famous Bentley 6.75 litre V8 engine, which has been in all of the top series models for 61 years, and it's also the engine that was found in Rolls Royces of the years when Bentley and Rolls Royce were the same company. So it's got some real history behind it, and personally I think this is one of the best engines ever made, because, and I can say that from first-hand experience, because I had a Bentley Arnage T which had a 450 brake horsepower version of the engine, and it is just phenomenal. I mean, it drives so well. It has so much torque, it's just crazy, all the way from the low revs upwards. And they made a 500 brake horsepower version of that engine as well, which was just as amazing, even more so really. But it's a real shame that it's all come to an end now, and there's the new range of engines that Bentley are producing, with the help of the Volkswagen Group, which are more economical. The power is great as well on those engines, but there's just something special about that L Series engine, and the fact that it's come to an end. It's a sad day, but we've got new engines, more efficient and all of that, and that seems to be more important nowadays than the grunt that comes out of that V8. Absolutely amazing engine. So that's a real shame. So you all know how the Ferrari 488 GTB has been replaced now with the F8 Tributo. The Spider version is also being released as well. That's the F8 Spider, and they're both phenomenally good looking cars. But the car is brand new to market, and if you want to buy one, then you've got to put your name down on a waiting list, which is sort of, how many years do you want to look at, sir? So it's the new model is fantastic, and it's already made the F8 the 488 GTB look a little bit dated, even though it's just come out. So if you want to buy one, you've basically got two options. You have to put your name down on a waiting list, or alternatively you can try and find a used one, but essentially a brand new car that is now available on the grey market. And in the UK, the right-hand drive cars have just started to roll out onto the roads, and there is already a right-hand drive version of the car which has just been released. So there's a dealership or a private dealership in just outside London called Romans International, and they do great cars. I mean, I've been down there. They've had, Bugattis, LaFerraris, 918 Spiders, Porsche 918 Spiders, you name it, they've got the cars there. And they have a bit of a coup in the sense that they've been able to secure the first right-hand drive F8 Tributo to come to the market. Now, this particular car is in the traditional spec, certainly the traditional UK spec, which is Rosso Corsa on the outside, Crema on the inside, and it looks absolutely fantastic. It's a lovely looking car. They tell us that the premium is only is not significant. So what that actually means in terms of what the markup is going to be, obviously they're going to make a profit on it, and the owner of the vehicle is going to make a profit on the vehicle as well. But it's first to market. It's the latest thing in a really nice spec as well. So if you're interested in that, do have a look at the website. We've got details of the vehicle on our website as well. So the COVID crisis has really impacted the car industry in a really big way. Factories have had to shut down, and it's been very tough for the car industry overall. Obviously in this particular environment, nobody's really buying cars, which is a bit of a problem. They do expect things to pick up again. Aston Martin have been struggling for a little bit of time. So they went public a few years ago. Their market capitalization was about £4 billion, and that has steadily reduced. They've actually seen a 94% drop in their market value, in the share value. And it's a real shame, because the thing is they've struggled for a while. When the company went public, they had a lot of modernization to do. They've also had a lot of model enhancements and things like that, new models coming out, and the development of the DBX as well, which is probably the most important Aston Martin out there today. And I'm going to create a second video on this actually. But the story is that unfortunately the CEO, Dr. Andy Palmer, he's recently resigned from Aston Martin, and it's a real shame, because the thing is he's a real technical car guy. He's he understands not just the business side of it, but the technical side of motorsport and car design and all of that. And the vehicles that Aston Martin now have in their range, they're the best vehicles that Aston Martin have ever manufactured. So it's a shame to see him go, and he's left the company in a really good position. The DBX about to roll off the production line, with production ready models and going out to customers, and the new factory as well, which has been set up in Wales. So it's a real shame for him to have left the company. But I guess from a financial point of view, the share value has tumbled. It's really low, and in the last week it's actually doubled. So since the lowest point was 27 pence, and now I think it's around about 70 pence. So it's more than doubled since he's resigned. So the market thinks it's the right decision, but unfortunately it's going to be now led by somebody else. So in terms of who it's going to be led by going forward, in totally safe hands, it's the head of Mercedes AMG. He is going to be coming over to run Aston Martin. Mercedes AMG obviously already make the engines for Aston Martins nowadays, so he's very familiar with the brand and the cars and what it's all about already. And so it's going to be in good hands going forward. But it's a real shame to see Andy go, because on a personal level, I've messaged Andy many times, and he's always come back to me, and come back to me quickly as well, which is, for a CEO of a company, it's very surprising. That the CEO would respond back to us always and so quickly as well. So it's been it's been a nice relationship that we've had with him. He's also set us up with a DBX review, so we're going to have a DBX delivered to us later this year, and we'll be able to give you a full review of the vehicle as well. So yeah, we've got that coming up too. But real shame. But I guess the market dictates these things, and the CEO has gone now. So one of the biggest stories of the week is actually it involves a Ferrari 250 GTO, which if you've been living in a cave somewhere, it's the most expensive car in the world. It was probably the most iconic vehicle made by the most iconic brand, and it's one of the most sought after vehicles in the world. So price wise, $50 million. There's probably cars that have changed hands with undisclosed sums. So it's whatever the car is valued at, really. But certainly 37 million pounds, $50 million, around there is what the market value is at. So this particular story involves a car that was sold a couple of years ago, and chassis number is 3387 GT. It's a beautiful car, beautiful spec car, got a great racing history, and if you want to sort of learn more about that, you can have a look at our website. The link is in the description below. But this particular car was sold by an American lawyer to a British car dealer, and the vehicle was supplied with the incorrect gearbox. So when the deal was done, it was done on the basis that the correct gearbox would be supplied with the car. And you can imagine, if somebody, this dealer in the UK, he's going to sell the car on. Whoever's going to want to buy the car, they're going to want the car with the matching engine and the gearbox with the chassis, because that's where the value is. And if it doesn't have the matching gearbox, if it's got an incorrect gearbox in there, then the cost of that is going to be taken off the value of the vehicle. So you could easily sort of reduce the value by £500,000 or £1 million just because of the incorrect gearbox, because it doesn't have the correct markings on it. So the vehicle was supplied over here. The correct gearbox was found by the seller, the American lawyer, but he wanted an additional £500,000, and the buyer in the UK sort of insisted no, that was part of the original deal. So it ended up going to court, and it's been discussed in court for quite some time. Obviously, the sum is quite considerable, and the judge in the UK has just ruled that actually it was part of the original deal, and the gearbox should be supplied with no extra cost. So the American lawyer, who you would have thought, being a lawyer, he would probably have been able to work that one out himself, but he probably tried it. But the American lawyer has lost the case, and he actually needs to supply the gearbox. But it's just madness, really, that a gearbox to a car which would not cost £500,000 to manufacture, because of the vehicle that it's with, is it's valued at sort of £500,000 just for the gearbox. But it is for one of the most amazing cars, the most beautiful cars in the world, which is the 250 GTO, and it's got an amazing racing history as well. So you can kind of understand why it's valued so high. So that's it for this week, and I hope you've enjoyed this episode. We'll have another episode coming out next week. Don't forget to subscribe, and that way you'll find out when the next episode comes out. And if you hit the bell, then you will get a notification when that next episode comes out. Thanks very much for joining us, and see you next week.